What's up everybody, it's Mike B with Bombero Bus, and today I'm going to put up a quick video about an electronic ignition distributor made by Empi. It's a 009 into my bug. Right now there's a points and condenser style 009 in there, and it's squealing horribly. That means it's probably waiting to strand me on the side of the road somewhere, so I better get proactive about it and get a new distributor in there. So I found this one for $80. I'm familiar with Petronics, and my brother runs one in his bug too. The bus has had one in it, and they're very expensive. So I'm very curious about this $80 Empi to see what kind of longevity and mileage I can get out of it. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's quit talking about it and get to work. So here's what I'm going to go with. The Empi 009 electronic points distributor. Got it at the local shop for 80 bucks. And you know how it is with Empi things. That's hit and miss, but I'm at a crossroad where I'm willing to give it a shot. So I mean, I did look at it. I haven't heard terrible things about it, but we're going to experiment with it in the bug there and see how she goes. It looks solid, feels solid. Take this cap off. Rotor, dust cover. Probably never run that really, but I'll probably keep it on there since it's electronic. But there it is. Electronic ignition. Now, what we do know is that it needs at least a 3 ohm coil. So the last time I checked, I had that, but I better double check before we put this in. So let's get to it. There's the coil. It looks good. I just tested it. It ohmed out at 3.4. Pulled the main lead to it, pulled the power from it, and the negative. Touched the lead from the ohm meter, positive one to here, the black one to the negative terminal, and I read 3.4. So you probably already know how to do that, but I just wanted to reiterate that you need at least 3 ohms if you're going to use this distributor. That's what they say anyway. So I'm going to pull the chirpy one off, and it's just a matter of one nut right there that needs to be undone on that bracket. And I'm going to put this on top dead center before I do it, and we'll pop this dizzy out. That means I've taken the cap off so I can look at the rotor. I know where this thing points when I'm on top dead center. So I'm going to start turning the crank pulley here and watch this rotor come around until it's on top dead center. So I was already almost there, but if you see the notches on my pulley, that farthest notch to the left is going to line up with the seam on my case, and there it does. So that's lined up to indicate top dead center. And then on these 009 distributors, the rotor will point to the 5 o'clock position when it's in number 1, top dead center. Now I could pull the valve covers and check the valves to make sure I'm on number 1, but I work on this thing a lot. So the point is, I like to be on top dead center when I pull the dizzy so that I don't have to mess with any of the timing. So there we are. Now we're going to get that 13 millimeter nut off right there and pull this whole dizzy out with the clamp in place. Okay, the 13 millimeter nut is off. Set it to the side, and then this dizzy should just pop out. And there it goes. We'll set that off to the side. And then one thing I wanted to show you is if you look down here, I'm not going to be able to see it. But if you can see that groove you can see that it runs perpendicular. That groove runs perpendicular to the seam on the case. All right, we've got the new clamp opened up. It's an Empi 2. Got it for $4 1/4 from the local shop. And we got a little sticker with it. But I mean, you can say what you want about Empi, but they are hit and miss. But I have seen improvements just in the time I've been working on the VWs and a lot of their products. And basically, they're doing their part to keep the dream alive. They make lots of things, and they're readily available, and they're out there. You can say that you only will use German products if you want, but good luck finding a lot of that stuff anymore, and who knows how long it'll take to get to you. So that's enough on that. What I'm going to do is put this clamp on this distributor, because I like for each distributor to have its own clamp. My spare will have its own clamp too. But when I put this on, where you want to be careful is, you see, if I force it over this O-ring, I could risk damaging this O-ring. And right now this is a perfect and brand new O-ring. If I damage it, I could have an oil leak come up through there. So I'm going to take this O-ring off and lube it up before I put it in. And then I'm going to put the clamp on first and then put the O-ring back on. And there it is. We've slid the clamp on and we got the O-ring back on. Had to take the O-ring off, like I said. I don't like to do that too many times, because every time you take this O-ring off and you have to stretch it over this shaft, man, it gets a little bit looser each time. So the clamp is on, and it's nice to have a new clamp, because sometimes when these get old and they've been pulled together too many times and drawn up too tight, they can do funny things when you're trying to have the Dizzy sit flat in that spot. So a nice clamp is nice too. So what I'm going to do is put this back in the same way I just pulled out the old one. If you notice on these, if you can see that little line right there, there's a notch on the lip. And if this rotor is pointed to that notch like that, you should be on the number 1 when you drop it in. Another way to look is, if you notice, this piece here is offset. So remember I said this is going to fit into a groove, these two pieces, and that groove will be perpendicular to the case. Well, the smaller half of this will also fit to the rear of the car. So I don't know if you get all that. And this isn't a distributor how to install, but it's really just about checking out this Empi's. But if any of that helps you, I hope it does. But I'm going to go drop this in now. Can't wait to get it started up and see how it does. Okay, the Empi Electronic 009 is dropped, and I'm gonna tell you, that was a tough drop, man. That brand new O-ring and trying to get it to fit down that passage and seat completely, it was tough. So took some time, some wiggling, but I got it on there. So I'm gonna get the cap on. I got some new plug wires. So that was it. It's in there. It's looking good. Like I said, I love the look of it. It's got a nice clean look. I like the black cap. Went ahead and got some new wires while I was at the shop too. Well, it seems to be running good. I'm going to take it on a test run. And really the best thing to do is a longevity test. I'll see how long this thing holds up and what kind of use I get out of it. So you can check back on, ask some comments later on, see that how much time has gone by and how well it still is or is not working. But some things to retouch on are, for sure, the wires coming out of it, the positive and the negative. You cannot cross those, even on mistake. So, man, I checked 6 or 7 times. Make sure your positive wire goes to the positive on your coil, and that the negative goes to the negative on your coil. You cannot get those mixed up, not even once. The other thing is how difficult it was to get in there, but it had the new O-ring on it. So, you know, I kind of suspected that. I didn't know it would be that hard though. So we're gonna run it and see what kind of longevity we get out of it. Well, there it is. The old Dizzy is out and the new one is in. I'm gonna keep the old one on board in case it ever needs to get me home when the electronic one fails me, which hopefully is a while. And that's really what this is all about. It's a longevity test to see if I can get some bang for buck out of this $80 electronic ignition. So only time will tell. But either way, thanks for hanging out with Bombero Bus. If this video helped you, feel free to like and subscribe. If you didn't help or you hated it, feel free to leave a comment. But either way, thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you on the next one.